Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Let's start this lecture, that is yield and land use assessment of cropping system. Last class we discussed about different type of cropping system. It may be monocropping or multiple cropping. In multiple cropping we have different type of cropping like intercropping or mixed cropping. Sequential cropping. In sequential cropping you have double cropping, triple cropping, relay cropping, raccoon cropping, and also one type of multiple cropping is the multi-storied cropping. In multi-storied cropping, so there are different, the crops are grown and the economic products of the crops are harvested from different heights. Like you can orchard garden, the tea garden, if you take example, in tea garden, tea grows the bushy height, maybe a maximum up to 50 centimeter or 1 meter height. And now in tea garden also you grow some shade trees to provide shade to tea. Those shade trees may be fruit trees like guava, sapota, lychee that can be grown in tea garden. And also on the shade tree, we can also allow some of the climbers to grow like black pepper. Black pepper is a climber, so they are allowed to grow on shade tree and they can give certain income as a black pepper. And in the tea garden also, on the boundary of the tea garden, we can go for growing the crops like turmeric and ginger. Those are also shade loving crops and where the economic products you get from underground portion. So these are the one type of the multi-story cropping, like intercropping we can say. But the outputs are harvested from different heights, like the black pepper or the guava, sapota. At the same time, we get the tea from the main crop is tea, the tea garden, and also we get the turmeric and ginger. The similar cropping system we can find in South India, like especially in case of Kerala parts. They have the multi-storied, also multi-tier cropping, where the coconut garden. In coconut garden, they have coconut, they have erica nut, they have turmeric, ginger, pineapple, and so many fruits can be grown. And in the papaya, they come up in a garden where the economic output, the harvest, the economic harvest is done from different height. Some may be bushy type like pineapple, we grow very bushy type, and the like turmeric, ginger, underground crops, and the erica nut and the coconut. So these are the example of the intercropping, also known as a multi-storied or multi-tier cropping. So now today we'll discuss about suppose we have a cropping system. So we have multiple cropping. We have intercropping and sequential cropping. So in this case, first of all, crop planning. Crop planning I discussed earlier. If you go for crop planning, you must see the type of the as per the cropping pattern and cropping system. The crops for the particular season, which season it can grow, and also cropping system means is a very location specific. For that locations, depending upon the farm, depending upon the farmer, what type of crop is suitable, that decides the cropping systems of the farm or the farmer. Depends on locations, economic conditions, soil type, market. What market is there, accordingly the farmer can decide what type of crop he has to grow. That talks about the cropping system. So it's very important to make assessment of this cropping system. Once we are growing different crops, then you can go for the yield assessment and economic assessment as well of the cropping system. Suppose you have intercropping. So where the two crops are grown together, so how can we see that the intercropping is advantageous over the sole cropping, or intercropping has disadvantages over the sole cropping? To make assessment of yield advantages of intercropping and the sole cropping, so we go for the land equivalent ratio calculation. We calculate land equivalent ratio. What is my land equivalent ratio? Means the total land area required under sole cropping to produce same yield obtained as in the intercropping mixture. Suppose you take 1 hectare land in intercropping and the yield you get. Suppose you want to go for sole cropping, how much land area do you need to have the same yield as 1 hectare of intercropping? That is known as the land equivalent ratio. Suppose in 1 hectare the land area, the yield you get, and to get same amount of yield, if you go for sole cropping, if you need the land area more than 1 hectare, that is 1.2 hectare, then you can say that intercropping is advantage, because now the yield you are getting, the production you are getting 1 hectare, the same production you will be getting in 1.2 hectare if you go for sole cropping. In that case, we can say that intercropping is advantage. That is what is a land equivalent ratio. Amount of land area needed in sole cropping to produce same amount of yield as of intercropping, that is known as land equivalent ratio. That is YAB by YAA plus YBA by YBB. So YAA, the yield of component A as a sole crop. When you get sole cropping system, that is YAA, and YAB, yield of component A as intercrop grown in combination with B. Similarly, YBB is the yield of component B as sole crop, and YBA, yield of component B as intercrop grown in combination with A as intercrop A. So if you calculate land equivalent ratio, from land equivalent ratio, we can know whether intercropping is advantage or disadvantage. So I'll take an example here, how can know the land equivalent ratio of an intercropping system.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, what is the difference between YAB and YBA?
YAB, the yield of crop A, and in the intercropping system, when both the crops are grown in the intercropping system. YBA, yield of crop B in this intercropping system. These two are the yield of intercropping system. YAB, the yield of crop A, and YBA, the yield of crop B. But they are in intercropping.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So we'll do one example here to see the advantage or disadvantage of the intercropping system.
రెండు స్క్వేర్లు వస్తున్నాయి.
Yes, who was makes his mic on? Can you mute your mic? Suppose it's a field. We'll go for the corn plus peanut. So you are growing corn crop, and the other field we have the peanut. So these are the in sole cropping. This is the corn as sole crop, and corn yield support is 5.5 ton per hectare. And the other field, here we have peanut. Peanut yield is 2.5 ton per hectare. So this is a corn field, and this is your peanut field. These are sole cropping. If you grow only corn crop and only peanut crop, and the spacing of corn that is around 50 centimeters. These are the corn rows. These are the rows for the corn. And the spacing is, original spacing is 50 centimeter. Centimeter between the row spacing. So here you have the peanut field. The peanut rows. And the spacing of peanut, that is 30 centimeter. Normal spacing of peanut 30 centimeter. Now, if you go for the intercropping, both the crop corn and peanut can be grown in intercropping system. Suppose you are growing both the crops in one field. This is your corn row. So the corn spacing is 50 centimeter. They are all 50 centimeter. After every two row, so is a space the corn plus peanut. The intercropping peanut, that is 2:1. That means the 2 row of corn followed by 1 row of peanut. Two is to one spacing, 2 row of corn followed by 1 row of peanut. So in between, after 2 row of corn, we'll have 1 row of peanut. Here peanut is active crop, corn is the main crop. Without changing the spacing of the corn, after every 2 rows of corn, 1 row of peanut was introduced. So corn plus peanut, and this is known as additive series, where corn is the main crop and peanut is the sub crop and the secondary crop that is introduced after every 2 rows of corn, that is corn plus peanut 2:1. That means 2 rows of corn followed by 1 row of peanut. So this is the intercropping system. So here suppose now how you can say that intercropping is advantage or disadvantage. Suppose if you see the yield, in case of the corn, here corn yield 5.5 ton per hectare and peanut yield 2.5 ton per hectare in sole cropping system. In this intercropping system, suppose yield is corn yield 3.0 ton per hectare and the peanut yield is 1.5 ton per hectare. So now tell me whether the intercropping is advantage or disadvantage. So sole crop yield, corn yield 5.5 ton per hectare, sole crop yield, peanut yield 2.5 ton per hectare. If you grow these two crops in intercropping, we get the corn yield 3.0 ton per hectare and the peanut yield 1.5 ton per hectare. So can you tell me whether intercropping is advantage or disadvantage?
Sir, it depends on the price of peanut and corn in the market, sir.
Okay. So that's true. We are not going for income.
Sir, your voice is gone, sir.
Can you hear me?
No, sir. The voice
Your
is
voice,
still very low.
sir, voice is very low, sir.
Whether this corn plus peanut intercropping is advantage or disadvantage.
Advantages.
So how can you assess? How can you say that it's advantage?
So what I did was I counted how many hectares of intercropping will be required to produce the same as it was produced in single crop, and I got
So
that.
yeah, yes, intercropping or sole cropping.
No, I counted how many number of hectares are required to produce by intercropping, whose yield will be equal to the sole cropping yield.
I think you are saying reverse way because no, see the amount of yield you are getting intercropping, if you want to get same yield in sole cropping, how much area do you require? That need to calculate. In 1
Yes, sir.
hectare intercropping, we are getting corn 3 ton per hectare, peanut 1.5. Suppose you want to get same 3 ton per hectare corn, how much area do you need under sole cropping? If you want to get same peanut 1.5 ton per hectare, how much area do you need under sole cropping? That need to calculate.
Yes, sir.
Okay. In case of corn, the area will be required in sole cropping to produce same amount of yield, that is how much? 3 divided by 5.5, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
For the corn, the area will be needed in sole cropping to produce same yield as of intercropping, because you need 3 ton per hectare. For sole cropping, you need 5.5 ton per hectare in 1 hectare. So for 3 ton, how much area do you need under sole cropping? 3 by 5.5, isn't it? How much?
Yes. 0.545.
5?
45.
Okay, so
0.5.
0.55, I can say 0.55.
Yes.
This much area in sole cropping corn you need to produce 3 ton per hectare if you go for sole cropping. To get 3 ton, if you want to go for sole cropping, the area needed for corn is 0.55 ton per hectare. Similarly, the area needed for peanut, that is 1.5 by 2.5,
Yes. 0.6.
that is 0.60. So if you add these two area, so that means your land, now it comes the land equivalent ratio. That LER is equal to 0.55 plus 0.60 equal to 1.15.
Yes, sir.
That means the amount of production you are getting from 1 hectare of intercrop, 3 ton corn and 1.5 ton peanut. If you want to go for sole cropping, to get same production of 3 ton corn, 1.5 ton peanut, the area needed is 1.15 hectare. If you want to go for sole cropping, through intercropping in 1 hectare you are getting same production. That means the land equivalent ratio, that means that is more than 1. It indicates that intercropping is advantage. If it is equal to 1, there is no interaction. You can go for intercropping or sole cropping. There is intercropping neither advantage nor disadvantage. If land equivalent ratio becomes 1, that means area needed sole cropping to produce same yield as of 1 hectare of intercropping is same. So intercropping is neither advantage nor disadvantage. If it is greater than 1, then intercropping is advantage. If it is less than 1, there may be no negative effect, adverse effect of intercropping. Having 2 crops, that gives allelopathy effect, adverse effect. Then we should not recommend for intercropping those crops where yield gets reduced in intercropping. But when there is a positive effect, then you can say, okay, so the intercropping is advantage. You can see land equivalent ratio of corn is 0.55. The amount of yield you are getting here, 3 ton. To get 3 ton, you need 0.55 hectare of corn, and to get 1.5 ton of peanut, you need 0.60 hectare of peanut to get the yield of this one from the sole cropping. So if you go for sole cropping, then need 1.15 hectare. That is what land equivalent ratio. That is the intercrop yield of crop A divided by sole crop yield of crop A plus intercrop yield of crop B divided by sole crop yield of crop B. That is land equivalent ratio. If land equivalent ratio is greater than 1, then you can say intercropping is advantage. If it is less than 1, then intercropping is disadvantage. If LER equal to 1, so there is no effect of intercropping, neither advantage nor disadvantage. That is what is a land equivalent ratio. To make assessment of yield advantages, in intercropping system. I think hope everybody could get it.
Sir,
Yes,
one
please.
doubt, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, the data you have given, like after every 2 rows of corn, we will apply 1 row of peanut. So is it practically the same thing what we do in fields, or like just it is an
Yeah.
imaginary
So
data?
no, and it depends upon the situation. You can go up. If you see what you are doing here, you are going for additive series. That means here your corn is your main crop. We are not changing the spacing of the corn. Here peanut is a secondary crop. So you are just introducing peanut crop in the field. That we can do after 2 row, you can do after 3 row, you can do after even 4 row. That we can do. But definitely depends upon the farmers, because if you take because this is only subsidiary crop, we are not going for the peanut as a one of the component one. But other cases, if you see, if there is a replacement series, in the replacement series, both the crops are equally important. So you have to give. So in this case, what we can do, we can probably will think of eliminating 1 row of corn. If you go for that one, we can eliminate 1 row of corn here, and we can have the you can introduce one more. In case it require, you can introduce one more corn row of peanut here. In that case, what happens now? The population of the corn is not maintained 100%. 1 row of corn can be eliminated here. The spacing from this to this, it becomes now 1.5 meter. Earlier it was 1.1 meter. Now this becomes 1 meter. In this spacing is this is 1 meter spacing. So here, because here what happens, you are sacrificing 1 row of corn here. Earlier it was 1 row of corn, that you are sacrificing here to introduce the peanut. That means here neither peanut or the corn, they have the same populations. So both the crops are called as component crops. Both the crops are equally important. Usually farmers, they do practice, they can go for 2 row of corn, and also because to have the peanut as also one of the component crop, you can give some spacing to peanut, because now the corn is a tall growing crop, peanut is a short growing crop. If you are growing now in between 2 rows of corn, so shading effect will be much higher here. But if you give some space, if you eliminate one or 2 row of corn here, then the shading effect of the corn on peanut can be minimized. So peanut, you may get some good return from peanut as well. That is what the practice we do for replacement series. When you sacrifice the component of the one crop and introducing the another crop, we try to justify the spacing and the resource use for both the crops. In this case, so we can go for the 2 row of corn followed by 2 row of peanut, but proper spacing. You have to give the spacing, proper spacing for peanut as well. Usually practice when you go for the corn and peanut, we go for this one. But the other case, when you go for the mechanization, in mechanization, it will be very difficult to go for 2 row of corn followed by 2 row of peanut, because the seeder you may have maybe 4 row seeder or 6 row seeder. It may cover around 1 meter, 2 meters the length at a time. In this case, you can go for specially complete strip of one crop followed by the second strip, including the number of seeders, the seeder available for the second crop. That you can go for the mechanizations, and that becomes easy for harvesting as well, sowing and harvesting. And moreover, you can find that when you go for the 2 crops, their harvesting stage should not coincide. Their harvesting stage must be different. They should not mature at the same time. If they mature same time, harvesting becomes difficult, and there is chances of mixing up one crop with another crop. To avoid that one, you should choose the crops of different maturity durations. At least 30 days, 25-30 days gap should be there in their maturity durations. So that helps in the harvesting easiness and the operation easiness. At the same time, the competition will be less between component crops having 2 crops of different maturity duration.
Yes, sir, clear.
Okay. Is it clear?
Yes, sir, definitely.
Okay. So now we go. This is intercropping. So we'll go for the sequential cropping.
Sir, just one thing, sir. So
Yeah.
why have we studied this thing independent of money, sir? Like next thing is
related to income, but why not these two things should be related to each other, sir? Income as well as area, and the solution must be an optimization of the both.
Definitely, that's true. So we go for income as well. So income, that's income equivalence ratio. We do the land equivalent ratio. At the same time, we go for income equivalence ratio. The ratio of area needed under sole cropping to that of intercropping to at the same management level to produce same amount of gross income. As you did this one, we can go for also income equivalent ratio. So that is what we do. We do go for the production cost, how much input cost is there, and the selling price. Based on that, we can go for the income equivalence. It means, so in case of 1 hectare, how much net return you are getting? The gross return minus the cost of productions. How much net return you are getting? And if to have the same net return, how much land area you need under sole cropping? That gives your income equivalence ratio. Same you can calculate income equivalence ratio. Okay, could you get it?
Sir, which is more important, the land equivalence ratio or income equivalence ratio?
Yeah, see, if you suppose depends farmers the staple diet, staple food. Okay, the farmer is growing now, needs his food is more important for his own consumption. Then in that case, yield is definitely important because you have to get more production. And the farmer is a rich farmer, dependent farmer, and he can maintain his own the family needs. Then he can going for the economic purpose, business purpose. Definitely go for the as income is more important, as important there. But for the poor farmer, as a subsistence farmer, for them, for their the own the requirement, family consumption, where the yield is very important to maintain the production level. And for the as a medium farmer or the farmers who are going for the business oriented, for them income definitely the main aspect. Just look for the income.
Sir, it also
Okay.
depends on the number of acres he or she owns, right?
Yeah, that's true, because it depends upon the land type, because once you have the more area, your cost of production goes on increasing. If area is higher, definitely you have the higher cost of production, and the same time your return will be higher as well. And the farmer, suppose depending upon the farmer is a poor farmer, and he has small land size also very small, and he has number of members, family members, 5 members. For the farmers, he needs to have no staple food as rice and wheat are the pulses. So his more focus is how he can production can be high, so that it can meet the whole year requirement of that family. He need not buy from the market. So in that case, the farmer goes for the production basis to have his family needs, and of course he has more land area available, and he can go for, because meeting the need of the family as per the production requirement of the family, he can divert the land area for the cash crops, and for those crops only the income is very important, where he can get the more benefit, he can get the proper benefit. So the different type farming is the farmers as a subsistence farmers. For the subsistence farmers, for his the main objective is to meet the food need of the family. And the farmers, other type of farmers like as a medium scale medium farmers, for them there are of course the two type of things. One, they should need the feed requirement of the family. At the same time, there should be income generation. So they have the land to divide two parts. One part is their family need. The production should meet the family need, family food need, and the other part, the production should meet the income generation. They go for the income generation, they go for the cash crops only for the market, sending to the market, and that can give the higher income for the farmer. So both the way, so usually give the priority to productions as well as the income generation. This should be remunerative as well. Yeah. So did you get me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is about intercropping. Similarly, you go for sequential cropping. Sequential cropping, what you do? So to make the sequential cropping means the one crop is grown after harvest of the one crop. That means second crop is grown after harvest of the first crop. So in sequential cropping, we calculate the multiple cropping index as the cropping intensity as a land utilization index, how the land is utilized, how well the land is utilized throughout the year. So multiple cropping index is the summation of AI by A into 100. So AI is the area occupied by the ith crop in a given year, and N is the number of crops grown in a given year, and A is the net cultivable area of the farm. So that's the cultivated area of the farm, A, the total area available in the farm, and AI is the area occupied for each crop in a given year into 100. That gives the cropping intensity or multiple cropping index. So which is, if the farmer has 10 hectare cropland and he is growing all the whole 10 hectare only once in a year, only Kharif season. Suppose he is growing only rice, then what could be his cropping intensity? He is growing only rice crop, the whole 10 hectare farm, he is growing only rice crop and once in a year only. Though in that case, what is the cropping intensity or multiple cropping index?
It will be less.
How much? 10 hectare cropland, he has 10 hectare cropland and he is growing the whole 10 hectare only one crop rice. What will be his cropping intensity?
100.
100%, correct. So in this case, the cropping intensity of this farmer will be only 100%. Suppose he take rice and also after rice he goes for the wheat crop, same 10 hectare.
200.
200%. That is what is a cropping intensity. So if you grow more number of crops in a given year, so cropping intensity will be higher. In India, we have average cropping intensity only 130%. It's because some cases, like Eastern India part, we can say farmers are growing only one crop in a year, that is rice. The rest of the year, the land remain barren, non-cultivated because of maybe irrigation water is not available or farmer is not interested, whatever may be the reasons. So there are some constraints are there. Only once they grow the crops, rest of the period the land remain as fallow. But in some cases, like where they have the irrigation facility and where there is a market demand, market is very close, and there is also the management of the field is better. The farmers used to go for the 2 crops or the 3 crops in a year. The after rice they go for vegetables, and also summer season they go for vegetables. In that case, the cropping intensity is around 300%. So the average cropping intensity of India, if you see, that's only 130%. That means the whole the major portion of land is not utilized throughout the year. So that is what in case of multiple cropping index, as a land utilization, we do calculate the cropping intensity, and also we are interested to know the crop equivalent yield. So 2 crops, 3 crops grown in a year, we'll calculate the crop equivalent yield. Crop equivalent yield, the yield of different crops are converted to equivalent yield of any one crop or main crop based on price of the produce. That is just a crop equivalent yield. Suppose crop equivalent yield of, if you take particular farm, you have different crops, then this is the yield of main crop CY, then this yield of other crops, they are converted as a yield of the main crop based on price. Suppose the second crop, the yield and price of the second crop by price of the main crop. Similarly, the other crop you have the yield of that crop into price of that crop divided by price of the main crop, then you can calculate the equivalent yield of that farm when the yield of other crops are converted to yield of any crop, any one crop, or you can say any one main crop yield is converted. So we'll do an example to calculate the crop equivalent yield. When you see that you can add the yield of all the crops together. It's better to know when you particular farm to calculate the yield. You calculate the crop equivalent yield when there are more number of crops are involved. We cannot add the yield of rice with yield of potato or yield of potato with yield of green gram. Rather, you can convert the yield of a particular crop to a common crop, then you calculate the equivalent yield of a farm. So for example, this is a farm cropping system of different fields in a farm. So I'll give example here. Okay, let's come to the whiteboard.
Sir, for this case, like as you were mentioning for eastern states in India, unawareness could also be a big reason, no? Okay, like farmers
Yes.
actually don't know what else they can grow except rice in
Yeah,
the other
that's
type.
one point. The farmers' capacity building, farmers' education, that is also very poor. Not only that one, we have a problem also. Even if farmer want to grow, so they have to be accessible of the good quality seed and other irrigation also. Sometimes the farmers may not have the irrigation facility. You want to grow some crops in months, especially winter season or as a summer season, he should have the proper irrigation facility. Without irrigation, he cannot grow the crop. So that is one reason why the farmers they don't grow. And second thing also, even though there is you can and there are some landlords are there, they have done their the deep tube well. They can provide the water to others who can hire as on a hiring basis. They can pay and they can use that water. That's also some cases going on. But that depends upon as the interest and awareness of the farmers if he can go for that one. For this farm, suppose I have farmland, and this is around 20 hectare. I have the 20-hectare farmland, and our 20 hectare we have divided into, suppose there are the field 1, field 2, and field 3. So there are 4 fields are there. So in this case, is the field 1, field 1, field 2. It's field 3, field 4. Suppose you want to go for the crop planning for these fields. Okay. Field 1 and 2 are irrigated, and field 3 and 4 are rain-fed. So there is no irrigation facility for field 3 and 4. So what type of crop planning he can do? Suppose the area is located in eastern India and average rainfall is around 1500 millimeter. So what type of crop planning he can do in field 1? Anybody? In field 1, he want to do crops. It's irrigated one. What type of crop planning he can go ahead? Yeah?
Paddy, sir.
Yeah. Paddy in Kharif. Okay, after paddy, what crop he can go for?
Corn, I guess.
Yeah,
Corn, maize.
maize. After that, should he go for third crop or not? Betel leaf. This is I am talking about field crop. Betel leaf is a perennial crop. It cannot
No, sir,
operate here.
betel leaf can't be done, sir. It needs more infrastructure, sir.
Now we cannot go here. We are talking about paddy, corn, betel leaf. We cannot harvest corn, go betel leaf, again harvest betel leaf, go for paddy. Okay. Betel leaf is a perennial crop, where other crops should not be grown. So paddy, corn, what else I can take after corn?
Sir, any leguminous plant like lobia or moong, etc.
Moong, that's also very good. And also field 2. Field 2 also irrigated. What crop we can go for? Field 2. This is also irrigated. Which crop we can go for? Field 2. Yes.
Sir, do we have to go with something different at all, or can we go with the same?
This is the topic as they are saying. So this is a farmer, he has irrigated land. So what type of crop he can go for? In field 2.
Sir, sugarcane.
Sugarcane. Sugarcane, what else? Sugarcane, if you go, that goes perennial crop because this is a more than 1 year, he can't go for other crop in sugarcane. This takes almost 1 year.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay.
In field 3, this is rain fed. Field 3 and field 4 rain fed. So I know that Abhilash is speaking. Anybody can answer for field 3?
Sir, tea plantations.
Yeah.
Tea plantation.
If we are going for the field crops, we are not going for perennial crops. They are rain fed. Tea plantation cannot go under rain fed condition.
Sir, cotton.
Cotton. Okay. After cotton, do you
Sir,
grow cotton in Eastern India? It's Eastern Indian condition I'm talking. Eastern India.
Sir, shouldn't we go with some crops which have a lower duration? Like we have rains for very short time, so we can go for short-term vegetables or something, right?
During Kharif season, you are planning during Kharif season.
Okay.
So what crop we can grow? Anybody? Well, so field 3 and field 4
Sir,
the rain
jowar,
fed.
bajra.
Yeah, jowar bajra you can grow for corn as well. Okay, after corn also, depending upon the rainfall, we can go for some short duration crop. That we can go for. That is what the crop planning. Depending upon the irrigation facility, you can go for to allocate the crops for different fields as per the field type. So I'll give you a crop planning. I know the area. Now, how we can assessment of yield advantage or the land use in this sequential cropping system. So here you see this file, cropping system for different fields in that farm, land area 20 hectare. So what I did for the 4 fields, the field area of field 1, that is irrigated one, that is 5 hectare, and field 2, that is 5 hectare. Field 3, this is the rain fed, and field 4 is also rain fed. This is irrigated. Field 2 is irrigated. Field 3 is rain fed, and field 4 is also rain fed. So these are the cropping plan I have given. Area is given and the cropping plan also given, and the crop yield is given. For this every field, rice, wheat, peanut, rice, potato, green gram. So for the field 1 irrigated, you can go for rice, wheat and peanut, and field 2 irrigated, you can go for rice, potato. After that you can go for green gram, and field 4 is a rain fed one, you can go corn, and after that you can grow mustard depending upon the rainfall availability. And field 4 as well, you can go rice, short duration rice as per the rain fed conditions, but we get the monsoon rain during the Kharif season. After that we can go for the short duration green gram crop. So this is the cropping plan depending upon the field type for that farm. And for this we have the yield we have recorded, crop yield, rice, wheat, peanut, rice, potato, green gram, and here all the corn and the mustard, here rice, green gram. Now we need to calculate the equivalent yield. So as we discussed, if you want to know for each field what is the equivalent yield here, we can you can assess between the field 1 and field 2. For the 2 cropping system, we want to know which cropping system gives maximum yield. So to have equivalent yield, we convert yield of other crops to yield of one crop. Yield of wheat to be converted to rice, yield of peanut to be converted to rice. We have to calculate rice equivalent yield for this now the field 1, field 2, field 3 and field 4. How to calculate equivalent yield? That is the formula. The yield of the main crop, rice crop, plus the yield of the crop, second crop, into price of that crop divided by price of rice. Similarly, you have the 3 crop system, the yield of the third crop into price of that crop by the price of rice. Likewise, we can calculate equivalent yield of the cropping system for different fields. Can you do this one? I would like to know what the equivalent yield of field 1, field 2, field 3 and field 4. And the selling price is given here, sell price of the produce. For rice, wheat, rupees per kg. For rice, 20 rupees per kg, wheat 20 rupees per kg, peanut 50 rupees per kg, potato 25 rupees per kg, green gram 70 rupees per kg, corn 20 rupees per kg, mustard 45 rupees per kg. And calculate what is the rice equivalent yield and also what is the cropping intensity of this farm. So first, can you say what is the cropping intensity of the farm? First one, we can say. Cropping intensity or multiple cropping index of this farm. What could be the cropping intensity of the farm?
So first one will be 5 by 20 into 100. That is
Total of the farm, because farm is one only, not we have divide and describes for the specific field, we need to cropping intensity of the farm. Farm has 20 hectare land. The field 1, 5 hectare, field 2, 5 hectare, field 3, 4 hectare, field 4, 6 hectares. This is the cropping plan. And need to calculate cropping intensity of the farm, not for the field. Whole farm. Will the first one to answer, please?
The total is 100, sir. 100.
Yes, how much?
100, sir. 100.
Who did answer this one? Someone want to say?
Sir, it may be 300 for first land.
I told you not land basis, for the whole farm. Calculate the cropping
Sir, it's
intensity
coming
of
to
the
be
whole farm.
250, I guess.
250.
Sir,
Who told?
250,
Abhilash, same
I
Abhilash,
guess.
right now? 250, yes, the correct answer 250. You check this one. 250 because now you are taking 15 hectare here, is not it? 5, 5, 5. Again 5, 5, 5, 15. 15 plus 15, 30. Okay. Here 4 plus 4, 8 hectares. Here 6 plus 6, 12 hectare. So 30 plus how much? Plus 20. Is not it? 30 plus 8, 38 plus 12, 50. Total 50 hectare is your gross cropped area, summation of AI. That becomes 50 hectare. Your the net area is 20 hectare. So 50 by 20. Is not it? Could you get it? This is your cropping intensity index or multiple cropping index or cropping intensity. Summation of AI divided by A. Your summation of AI becomes 50 here because here becomes 15 plus 15, 30 plus 8, 38 plus 12. So 50, that is 50 by 20. 50 by 20 into 100. Is equal to 250%. Am I clear? Is it fine to all? So this farm will have cropping intensity 250%. Is it clear to all?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So can you calculate the rice equivalent yield for plot wise, field wise? For field 1, field 2, field 3, field 4. What could be the rice equivalent yield?
Sir, can you show the sale price of the produce?
Yeah, please, this one. Sell price. Yeah, please come on, quick.
The first one, point.
Yes, Jayachandra.
So first one is 14.5.
First one is 14.5. Okay.
Second one is 35.25.
35.25. Okay, good.
So
Third
next I
one.
have to calculate. So I
Okay.
have to
Okay. So this class I have given good mark to Abhilash and Jayachandra. I think they have answered most of the questions here. This is one type of comprehensive also completed. Anybody else to calculate for the field 3 and field 4?
Sir, 7.25 and 8.7.
7.25 and sorry 7.25 and
8.7.
8.7. I think others could not come up. Anyways, so okay.
Yes, sir, it's
So
correct.
yeah. So well, so this is the what we do the assessment of the yield for different intercropping as well as sequential cropping. So in a particular farm, we go for the farm planning type of crop we should choose and how to calculate the cropping intensity of that farm and to make assessment of yield advantage of the different cropping systems. But please keep in mind that we are going on yield basis, but also it is very important to go for the income basis. Not only the assessment of the yield, as well as the income generation, net profit for different cropping system. Because you see the potato, maybe they give the very high yield with the potato, but cost of production is also higher in case of potato. So you have to look for the income generation, the net profit from each cropping system based on the production cost, how much return you are getting from different cropping system. That will give the economic assessment. Say the benefit cost ratio we calculate. Also you get net return, net profit from different cropping system. That way also you can go for evaluation of different cropping system.